So do we have any guests here? I would request you to voluntarily give an introduction about yourself, your name, which club you are from, or what you're doing, and how you came to know about our online meeting today.
Hello, good evening.
Sean, yes.
Hi, I'm Bharat here. So I was being guest for Repair Marvels. Last week, I just attended digital meeting, so that's how I just came to know. So which is
Yes, sir.
interesting. So I just have a WhatsApp message again here, and then I just join here. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you and welcome to our club.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
welcome, Bharat.
Thank you.
Shankani Divisha, ma'am, can you introduce yourself?
I think she's in mute.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I had been mute. I'm Sankani Solveera from Area 3, Division F, Oasis Toastmasters Club. Currently, I'm studying as an undergraduate of University of Sri Lanka. These days, we are under curfew due to Corona. So, I got to know about your meeting via the Facebook page. So, I just thought of joining with you. Thank you.
Great, ma'am. Welcome to the meeting and have a great time. Can we hear it from Murali Krishnan, sir?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am Murali Krishnan from CTM Club. I today joined here as guest to just see how this online meeting works. Good to see you all.
Yes, sir. Welcome to our club.
Thank you, ma'am.
And there is Sampath, sir. Okay, we can have the introduction of Sam K.
Hi everyone, this is Sangeetha, and I am joining for I think the 6th or 7th meeting today, and this is my first video meeting, so it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy the meeting. For the benefit of guests and as members, as we know, every Toastmasters meeting will be entirely led by the Toastmaster of the day, who is basically the MC of this entire meeting. And today we have a special person indeed, the first member of Toastmasters in Tamil Nadu when it all had begun way back in 2003, a charter member of Chennai Toastmasters Club, and a charter member, the founder of Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club, the past district treasurer, the past division governor, and he is the reason behind Chennai Wordsmiths' victory it took him 3 years to get the club going. So with much pride, join with me to welcome the Toastmaster of the day, DTM Abraham Zachariah.
Thank you. Vanakkam. Thank you, Shruti, for the kind words. I think all of you can see me, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. So, good evening and welcome to the 556th meeting of the Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club. I have a good news and a bad news. Which one you want first?
Yes. Good news. Too much bad news.
Good news, sir.
So, good news is that I will not speak. I will not give speeches. The bad news is that I will have to interrupt the speakers basically for the transition. That's all. Okay, as theme of the day is given as virtual distance. I was thinking, what is the social distance? And I thought, let's go for a virtual meeting, virtual distance. Virtual distance, in a way, it is very good because somebody is sitting far off. We have somebody from Sri Lanka, as if we are sitting in the next room, so close. Similarly, there's another problem. We are sitting in the next room also, we feel they are very far off because we tend to talk to them over the phone, or we'll use this device for reaching out to them. So that is one problem. In fact, you can say the virtual distance is an oxymoron because it has both the good and the bad meaning, or whatever you take, the plus and minus, all these are there. I know one couple, they were not in good terms, but however, they were staying in their house, and all the time it was only virtual discussion. Once they leave the house, they used to send messages and all this. That is how they communicated. But because it was a device that could talk to them, make them communicate, this kept going. And in fact, the height of their Cold War, they had a child. That child gave the ice break for their rest of the life. So virtual meetings, virtual devices are very good in a way. That's what I try to tell you, that these are the things we have corona or across what we know what is happening in any place in the world. So these are the devices that help us to keep us closer to all this. That's the point. So with this brief note, let me move on to say something about the Toastmasters. Most of you are, and all of us are Toastmasters. Basically, it is something like, to contest briefing. Even international, I asked Aditya whether they say the same thing at the international. He said, yes, they say you have to be like this. This is a space. This is how you have to use. Whatever said at the club level is said at the international finals also. It is not the semi-finals, the finals also. So I have to, similarly, I may have to say the same thing. Toastmasters meeting has 3 parts. First part is the project speeches. We have manuals, and from the manuals, prepared speeches, members will come prepared and they give their speeches. Then we have table topic. Table topic is nothing but impromptu speeches. We have a table topic master. He will give you speech. He will give you a topic, and you have to speak minimum for 1 minute and maximum for 2 minutes. And more details he would give you when he comes on the floor. Then we have general evaluation. This is unique for Toastmasters, the only forum where we evaluate ourselves. To tell us more about evaluation, we have a general evaluator. And for this evening, general evaluator is Toastmaster Sangeetha. Sangeetha, you're present? Yes. Can I see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Great. Okay. Sangeetha is currently the Vice President membership of Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club. She is working for Nissan as a project manager. While in lockdown, she plays board games with her family. And with these few words, I request Sangeetha to take over and tell us more about general evaluation and introduce her team. Over to Sangeetha.
So, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am the general evaluator for today's meeting. And for the benefit of guests, general evaluator evaluates the entire meeting of the Toastmasters, and I will produce my report at the end of the meeting when called upon by the president. And I have 2 teams today. One is tag team. Tag team stands for timer, or counter, and grammarian. And one more team, which is a set of evaluators who will evaluate the prepared speeches. So I would like to call upon the timer for today's meeting. Today's timer is Aravind Annamalai. When Aravind, are you present?
Yes.
So Arvind, when I asked him about the lockdown period, what he does interestingly, he said during lockdown you can do whatever you always wanted to, but we couldn't find time because of the hectic academic and professional life. I do agree with you, Arvind, because I'm also working from home. When we go to office, we normally do 7 to 8 hours of job. Now we tend to work more, at least 10 hours. So thanks for mentioning that. Over to Arvind to mention about the timer role.
Thank you, Gentle Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
This is Arvind Annamalai, and I am the timer for today's. This is Arvind Annamalai, and I am the timer for today's meeting. As a timer, I will track the time taken by each speaker to present their speeches. Each speech has a separate time limit. For prepared speeches, it is usually 5 to 7 minutes for almost all the projects. And for 5 minutes, I will show the green card here. Hope everyone is able to see these. At the 6 minute limit, I will show the yellow card, and at the 7 minute mark, I will show the red card. For table topics, it is 1 for green, 1.5 for yellow, and 2 for red. And for evaluators, it is 2, 2.5, and 3 respectively. For all the speeches, 30 seconds of grace time is given, beyond which they won't be considered for evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. Guests, you will also be given the chances in table topics. So thank you, Arvind. Next comes our counter, Murli Anand. He is an engineer. He works in Ford. Thanks to Murli Anand, because at the last minute when I pinged him at around 12 p.m. yesterday, he took up the job. He took up the role as an counter. Thank you once more for that. Over to Murli Anand to brief about his role as an counter.
Yeah, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Apologies for not connecting through video. So, as an counter, I shall take note of audible pauses used by speakers such as you know, so, and etc. These injections generally distract the flow of speech. So, I will keep track and count of them. At the end of the meeting, I shall give my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Murli. Next comes our grammarian, Mr. Harish. When I asked about this theme, he says, in this virtual era, solutions for even pandemics can be shared to authorities online. So he is in the process of making a submission of a solution regarding this COVID. So this is something which is interesting. He is involved in this time. So all the best, Harish, for your research and its implementation. All the best. And I now welcome you to brief about your role as an grammarian.
Good
Harish,
evening to
over
all.
to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening to all the Toastmasters and guests present here in this yet another beautiful virtual meeting. And I'd like to quote Remy de Gaumont. He's a French poet. By saying that life is like grammar. It has more exceptions than rules. So as the grammarian for this meeting, I would make note of the good and the not so good usage of the English language. I will also make note of the speakers who use the word of the day and the theme of the day in their speeches. The word of the day is kerfuffle. It's a noun. Its meaning is it's a commotion or chaos caused due to conflicting views between two entities or people. A good usage of that would be there was a kerfuffle between US and China regarding the accountability for COVID-19. And the theme of the day, as it was said, is the virtual distance. Good luck to all the speakers. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Harish. Now I will hand over the control to TMOD.
Thank you, Sangeetha. It was a very good briefing. We all understood what is general evaluation and the tag role of the tag members. So we are moving to the first part of the meeting, that is a project speeches. Before that, I have a few word suggestions. One, when somebody is using the word of the day or theme of the day, please do clap wherever you are. It could be more visible rather than the sound. More than the sound, we want to see the action also. And I have a request, and kindly avoid using sir to anybody. It could be a person like me who is practically a grandfather at this age of most of you, and whoever it is. So please avoid sir and madam in Toastmasters, because madam Toastmaster is fine, but sir. But after the meeting, you can call me sir. I will happily accept it. So this is best. But I've noticed that when I come to when I go to any club here, keep on saying sir, 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 sir. So suddenly my age also will increase. So one of the reasons for that. Anyway, coming back to this. Okay, we are moving on to the agenda 1. That is
Sir.
speeches. Yeah.
Sorry, Toastmaster of the day. I have a small request. Can the word of the day be repeated, please, once? It is a bit, it's a mouthful for me to remember that.
All right, if I may, the word is kerfuffle. Kerfuffle, kerfuffle. Like it's a mix of, say, chaos plus waffle, kerfuffle. You can remember it like that. Kerfuffle, kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
It's a noun.
Kerfuffle, we do now. Most of us are coming up in our day-to-day life during this lockdown period with our spouses, right?
Right.
Anyway, one thing is sure, there is kerfuffle in our house because some of the support staffs are not coming here. So I have to take care of all those. Okay, with this, we'll move on to the main part, that is the speeches. So we have the first speaker. First speaker is ready. Rohit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no issues. Yeah. Okay, first speaker for the evening is Toastmaster Rohit. He will be presenting level 1, project 3. Research your presentation. Research your presentation. And title of the speech is, hey boss, can you repeat that title of the speech?
What do you do, Toastmasters?
What do you do, Toastmasters? Yeah. Rohit is a mechanical engineer aspiring to get into the highest cadre in government of India. He is a Netflix, and while in lockdown, he is engaged in Netflix, and is a very proactive, energetic Toastmaster. And there we see him in his speech. Also, we can see him. And before I request him to give a speech, I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Sudhi, to read out the objectives of his speech.
Good evening again. The target speaker, Toastmaster Rohit, is attempting his level 1 pathways project number 3 from Dynamic Leadership. The objective or the purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized and well-researched speech on any topic. Timer, please note the time is 5 to 7 minutes, and all the very best to the speaker.
Toastmaster Rohit, what do you do? What do you do, Toastmaster Rohit?
When was the last time you were humiliated, Toastmasters? What do you do when you're insulted? What do you do when you have planned something and it don't go according to your plan? It is just humane that people get dejected in such situations and tend to lose ourselves. Do you channelize that anger and turn that anger into something productive? Let me tell you one such feud amongst the most famous automobile manufacturers, which turned out to be so interesting that I decided to share that experience with you. I would like to take all of you back to the year 1963, where Ford was almost not doing so much in sales. And when Ford asked its employees to come up with a solution, Ford Vice President Lee Iacocca proposes to Ford that why don't we buy the cash-strapped Ferrari at this point of time, because Ferrari was flooded in debt. How many of you know what Le Mans is? Show of hands. Le Mans is the world's oldest active endurance racing. It is a race where automobile manufacturers bring their cars to Le Mans, which is a small town in France, and race their car in the track for almost 24 hours. Enzo Ferrari, the founder of Ferrari, however, walks out of the deal as Fiat offers him a more lucrative deal that allows him to retain the complete ownership of Scuderia Ferrari. In other words, Scuderia Ferrari is the racing division of Ferrari. Ford actually wanted all of Ferrari. They wanted Ferrari as well as Scuderia Ferrari, but Ferrari wasn't willing to go into the deal. So Fiat came up with the deal which Enzo Ferrari liked, and Fiat got Ferrari. Hearing this, Henry Ford II lost his cool, ordered his racing division to come up with a car which would able to defeat Ferrari at its own game. For this purpose, Ford hired Carroll Shelby. How many of you guys know who Carroll Shelby is? Carroll Shelby is an American racing driver who won Le Mans in the year 1959 and later forced to retire because of his heart condition. Shelby and Miles is a racer for Shelby, and the name of the company which Shelby owns is Shelby Automobiles. Shelby and Miles test the first car which was produced by Ford in order to achieve its goal, and called it as Ford GT MK1 prototype. They tested the car at Los Angeles International Airport, and first they eliminated all the design flaws in the car. Then step by step, they made that car into race ready car, and in that process, Ford saw that Miles as not their ideal driver because Miles is a hot-tempered British and a struggling mechanic. As predicted by Miles, none of the Fords finished the race as it was driven not by him, but it was driven by two other drivers in the Ford department. But Shelby, however, convinces Ford to give him another chance because he saw that his car achieved something that other car couldn't. Remember, this was 1965, and the car, which was developed by Shelby and Ford, could reach 350 kilometers per hour in a Mulsanne straight in Le Mans. This instilled a fear in Ferrari. Shelby and Miles didn't give up. They started working together and on a second project and called it as GT40 MK2. But Miles is nearly killed when the car brakes fail and he almost crashes into a pit. Ford Vice President Leo Beebe then takes over the racing division with intent to continue the program without Miles. But however, Carroll Shelby is pissed to hear that when his driver is not given a second chance. So Carroll Shelby takes it up to Ford and wages his company so to prove that if Miles drives the car in Le Mans 2, he would win it. So Shelby American enters Daytona, but BB, the vice president of Ford, also enters into Daytona, and there is a deal. So if Shelby American wins, then Ford will allow Miles to race in Le Mans in 1966. The thing Shelby didn't know was the Ford team, which was at Daytona, did have a NASCAR team. So in other words, NASCAR team means they would have a very short time in the pit stops, and they could come out of the pit and continue on making lap records. So then, in spite of that, Shelby pushes Miles pushes Miles to reach the top speed and evens the race. So now, finally, after all these struggles, Miles comes to Le Mans for the very first time to race. When Miles started, when Miles started the race, the first Le Mans is Le Mans is a race where the driver is not in the car. The driver has to run to the car and start the car and go into the track. But at the very first moment itself, the door didn't close. So he had to do one lap by holding the door with his hand, and he just managed to complete it. But in spite of that, he won. See, Ford didn't just win that year; they managed to win four continuous years. See, the point behind me narrating the story to you is there will always be many Ferraris in our life who insults us, humiliate us, and whatnot. It is in our hands how we channelize that anger and come up in our life so that we could one day build an empire. So, my dear Toastmasters, do you want to be a Ford or a Ferrari? My dear Toastmasters, what do you want to do? Thank you.
Okay, let's give a applause to Rohit. It was a history of Kafuola of racing of cars. Okay, please correct me if my pronunciation is not correct. Okay, friends, with this, we'll move on to the second speaker. The second speaker is Toastmaster Anantida. Where are you, ma'am? Hi. Yes, coming. Hi. Okay, Toastmaster Anantida is level 2, project 1 of Pathways, learning leadership style. She was a secretary and sergeant at arms of our Wordsmith Club, and both are very tough jobs. She was a winner of few contests in our club, and this means beautiful. I did some research and found out, and she's very beautiful. I know her for quite some time, and while in lockdown period, she reads books. Netflix gives her company. Before we request her to give a speech, I request our evaluator, Toastmaster Anusha, to read out the objectives.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Today, Anandita will be giving her level 2 project 1 of innovative planning. I will be reading out her purpose statement, which is the purpose of this speech is for the member to identify her primary leadership styles. The purpose of the speech is to share some aspect of her primary leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. I wish Anandita all the best.
Toastmaster Anandita, leadership in me, Toastmaster Anandita. Over to you.
Effective leadership is not about making speeches or being liked. Leadership is by results, not attributes. Good evening, everyone. All of us have few instances where we have been leaders in our life, starting from very childhood. Either you were either when you bossed over your younger sibling, or when you're asked to babysit your sibling. Those were our first steps towards leadership. Let me share a few instances in my life when I exhibited a few leadership qualities. In the month of November 2019, my college had asked us to do a project for a month, which was it was a group project. We had to create a blog and we had to publish different content every day. My team had 8 members and each of us had different ideas for our blog. One of the girls wanted to write about actors and the other wanted to write about mysteries. And we had 8 topics in front of us after a long discussion. The catfight had started. My group, no one wanted to listen to others' opinions. Everyone were convinced that their topic is the right topic for our blog. 10 minutes we waste on just arguing about whose topic is better than the other person. I had no idea on how to stop this fight. I thought for a while and I realized that the one thing common in these topics is something. And I proposed to them that we should write a blog about movies because that is the only thing that is common between all the topics we had: mysteries, actors, books, etc. Everything, movies. And after a pin drop silence for a minute, my team members looked at each other's faces for a while. After that, my team members agreed to the topic, and we went and showed this topic to our teacher. Our teacher was happy with our topic and she approved this. And from then on, we started writing different content for our blog every day. And our blog came out quite well at the end of the month, and all of us were satisfied. Had I insisted my team members to carry on with one specific topic, which is mine, instead of accommodating others' interests, our blog might have not been a success. The leadership style I exhibited here in this situation is altruistic leadership, which is to personalize one's opinions according to individuals' needs. Let me tell another incident that occurred in my life. A few months back, our club faced a huge predicament. Our original meeting place, the Towers Club, was sealed because of some government issues. From the tag books to banners, everything was stuck in Towers Club. And to make things worse, this news was declared a day before our meeting. The previous ExCom, presided by Toastmaster Gopal, had to deal with this crisis. We found a new venue and we had to prepare the necessary materials for our meeting, that is the tag books, the certificates, etc., which we had nothing in our hand. We had the leader in me awakened at this moment. Toastmaster Mike Lee had told us to get the tag reports and the timer cards from the Gavel Club only for that meeting. She sent me this contact details of a Gavalian named Sushant, who was a sergeant at arms at Noisy Speakers Club at that time. I spoke to him and I asked him to come hand over the essay kit to one of the securities in Tanish, so that I can come and collect it from them and get the printouts of the tag reports and the timer cards. And he gave the bag to one of the security guards and I took it from him. Went to a Xerox shop, I took the copies of the tag reports only for that meeting, took a picture so I can use it to create another one, and printed a few certificates that are required for our meeting. That meeting went on really well with the required materials, if not for the banner and everything. This was appreciated by our then president, Toastmaster Gopal. I realized that the leadership style exhibited here is affiliative leadership style, dealing with a crisis situation with a calm mind. Toastmasters, all of us are surrounded by leaders. Our club, for example, has many such leaders. For example, our president and our VP, Toastmaster Shruti and Toastmaster Arun Kumar, took a step forward and started this online meeting to ensure continuity of our meetings in spite of COVID-19. Area B4, spearheaded by Toastmaster Balamurugan, ensuring excellence all the way. The mentors guiding their mentees to achieve excellence in every role they do. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does great things. He is the one that gets people to do great things. Policemen and doctors fighting to do anything they can to stop the spread of coronavirus. These people are truly strong to lift others up, even if it means to put them to risk. That shows their leadership quality. Leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. Each and every person you meet is a leader. You are a leader. Develop your leadership skills by exploring every opportunity you get. That is when you will explore the leader in you. Toastmaster of the day, I'm exploring the leader in every walk of life. How about you?
Thank you, Anantida. I must say, I see a great leader in you. Thank you, ma'am. Well, friends, we'll move on to the next speaker, speaker number 3. Speaker number 3 is Toastmaster Armugam, ACB 6 storytelling project, Folktale. Now I request is evaluator Paul Bhaskaran to read out or sing the objectives of this speech.
Yes. He wants in singing style. Yeah. பொன்மாலை பொழுது. Yeah,
This is
of
joking.
course. To evaluate, it's a பொன்மாலை பொழுது. Hi, good evening, one and all present here. And a special good evening to my speaker, Toastmaster Arumugam, who is going to attempt on a storytelling manual, which is folktale. The objectives of his speech are to tell a folk tale that is entertaining and enjoyable for a specific age group, to use vivid, it can be colorful or dramatic imagery and voice to enhance the tale. Time allotted for his speech is 7 to 9 minutes. Timer, please note down, which is 7 to 9 minutes. Good luck to the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Paul Bhaskaran. The speaker for this evening is Toastmaster Arumugam. As his name suggests, he has a few more achievements to his credit. He's a multi-talented Toastmaster. He's a banker, basically. And I tried my best to get more things out of him, but being very modest, he didn't say anything about himself, except that he's a banker. But one thing I noticed, he has a contest fever. Because every contest he participates. It is something very good, and that is expected from every Toastmaster. And those who have participated in contests are the ones going up in the ladder of Toastmasters. So friends, with these few words, I invite Toastmaster Arumugam, and his topic is This Will Pass. This will pass, Toastmaster Arumugam.
Yeah. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Special good evening to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you.
These two will pass. These two will pass. Yes. Good evening again. Good evening, Toastmaster and guests. One day, King called for entire core team for meeting, and he asked one question for all team members. Just whenever there is a crisis situation, whenever I'm facing a failure or success or any situation, I need a one answer for all questions. And the entire core team members had a meeting, complete meeting, lengthy discussion with their team members. They're referring all books, Tirukural, Manimegalai, Sivakasindam, all books they're referring, but nothing they found an answer. The one senior person, name is Munuswamy. He is a minister or one of the senior minister in the team. And he said, King, I have one suggestion. Yes, tell me. 40 years back, when I was reporting to your father, that time I have a chance to serve one spiritual group. He has given a gift to me about my service. That gift only for very, very small and white paper written on something, but I'm not able to read till now. That I kept my home. The king said, okay, Munuswamy, go and get that gift. He brought the gift, and when he gave a gift to king, the king said, Munuswamy said, King, this would not open. If you're open, then that time that is a very dangerous situation, and this will work only along with the diamond ring. Then king has decided to took the papers and kept his diamond ring. Time went. After 10 days, king also faces some issues. His neighbor king has attacked the kingdom. The king and army team have bravely attacked enemy, but lost the battle. That king and along with his horse went, but then enemy is following him and chasing on him, and close is running. But finally, the king he went on top level. top mountain. There is no any way. He was thinking, what, where I am standing? Because he's standing almost more than 1,000 feet height. But the enemy is not leaving. Enemy is fighting, enemy is searching for him. That time, literally the king is crying. He doesn't have any answer. What I have to do? That time the diamond ring is shining. He took one paper. The answer is, these two will pass. These two will pass. That king has decided, what, how? Yesterday I was one of the topest king and have all luxurious life. Now I don't have any answer. I don't have anybody, even not even a food. Nobody's around me. I was standing alone. How that the situation will go through? Then he was keep on telling that where these two will pass. These two will pass. Then over the period, that means after 3 to 4 hours, he settled down. Then he got a one more way. He came down in the forest and he was seen that some people, more than 50 people. Then he taken a food from them and taken a rest. Then again, the king has come back. He developed the peoples for fighting with the enemies and reorganized his army team and fought with the enemies, and again he win the almost empire. That has biggest change. The king is thought, again he has win the complete momentum and is celebrating a success. That entire village is start celebrating, singing, dancing, and everywhere is a flowers, and complete village is celebrating. But the king is the top of the happiness. Is happiness curious, and finally, that time the diamond ring again shining. That time says he took one paper, again this was, these two will pass. What? This time also will go through. And how? That I am on a very topest. I already seen failure, success, even I am a hero, then again zero, again I become a hero. Then how this time will go through? Then he silently went on his room and realized that nothing is permanent this world. Everything is a temporary. And any sorrows, happiness, failure, success, everything is a temporary. In this scenario, I am going to relate it in a current scenario what we are facing. Yes, entire world is locked down due to corona, right? And this corona, because of corona, everybody is having fear of health issues, even a financial issues, job loss, that lot of issues we are facing. On everything, whatever, if you're opening a TV or WhatsApp or Facebook or any message, if you are talking to your friends also, all of them will give a negative feedback, negative message only. Nobody is going to positive message because it's a current scenario, real scenario. But this is also passed on. These two will pass. This current situation will move on next level. When earlier stage, when your kids, 4th or 5th standard studying kids, what they will pray? They will go to they will pray on a daily basis. I need a 10 days leave for playing with my friends. Now the prayer will fulfill by God, given a 21 days leave. In the same thing, parents, what they will pray? They will pray, my daughter and son stay with me, spend time with me for 10 days. That prayer is fulfilled by God. Same thing, even a wife will always expecting husband has to appreciate his food because there's no time. Then now this is a time, 21 days, husband will appreciate his wife on a daily basis for their food. That prayer also fulfilled by God. This is the way we have to think about this negative situation. You are one, last 2 days, India is saving more than 1 lakh petrol. 1 lakh petrol because we are not taking cars. And Indian economy, yes, Indian economy is down for last 3 days and heavily, but we have to see the opposite side, the positive side of this scenario. And entire pollutions for entire India, the roads are very, very safe now and pollutions completely controlled. Now only we are thinking our doctors, nurses, everybody, entire world is thinking they are God. Normally, the doctors and nurses, they are giving a service for lifelong. But now only we came to know they are servicing very excellent way, because all situation will become a positive result. But we have to learn this situation as a positive note. You think, but now that all we are all sitting home and we are all attending the very effective on Toastmaster meeting, but this is one of the way we have to improve ourselves. When you have a time, you have to start thinking about positively. There is a chance you will, if you want, somebody else want to read a book, read. Somebody wants to spend time with family. That way we have to think. This coronavirus situation will go through, will pass on immediately. These two will pass. Over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Armugam. Yes, these two will pass. We will move on from virtual meetings to physical meetings shortly, probably by the end of next month. Thank you very much. It was indeed a good eye-opener for all of us. Okay, friends, we are moving on to the next speaker, speaker number 4, and this is the last speaker for the evening. And he's a veteran Toastmaster. And he's Toastmaster Yuvaraju. This is all about ACB 8, speeches by management. Toastmaster Yuvaraju was a club president, area governor, division director, club extension chair of the district. And you may name any program in Toastmasters in the last few years, he was there always for all the program and helping hand, very supporting, very active Toastmaster. He's an HR professional. And I asked him what is the what he expected during the lockdown. He said reflex and relax. So he's into HR, so he knows what is to be done. And he has the evaluator of Yuvaraju is Toastmaster Arun Sridhar. Arun Sridhar, could you please read out the objectives of this speech?
Sure. Yuva is giving his fourth project from the Business Communication Manual. It is Communicating Change. The objectives are introduce a new idea or change to established operations or methods, show the audience how the change will benefit them, overcome any resistance to new idea and gain the audience's support. Timer, the speaker has 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you, thank you. Probably you would have seen there is something similarity between myself and Yuvraj. Both of us are not having enough hair, but he had to shave, and for me it was natural. Okay, with this, I must say, Toastmaster Yuvaraju, what is it for me? What is it for me, Toastmaster Yuvaraju? Floor is yours.
Change is the only thing which is constant in life. Sometimes change is painful. Sometimes change is challenging. Sometimes change is opportunity for us to throw ourselves, accept the change, find a way, and keep moving. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and everyone who is facing change in today's environment and trying to figure out a way forward. Sometimes,
good evening.
Sometimes change is natural, just like our human being. We move from an infant stage to a child to teenage to adolescent, adult, middle age, and old age. And we don't realize that this change has happened. Sometimes we feel proud of those changes. Like when we move from teenage to adult, we always feel proud about our changes. But the same changes when happens in the middle age, and with that, our physical and then our hairs get gray, we feel a little bit jittered. And sometimes when people around us start calling us uncle and auntie, we just resist that change and try to hide ourselves by doing an hair dye or changing our physical appearance. But after few days or few time, we accept those changes. Those are natural changes. And there are changes which just happens with time and we don't even realize. Wave your hands if you are a person who sees his mobile to look for a time rather than looking for a watch. I guess most of us look time in our mobile rather than on our watch. This has happened over a few years and we don't even have realized. Some changes are enforced on us, or it is a situation which makes us to change. In today's context, the world has changed with the pandemic corona. What's happening across is a total lockdown, and we have been virtually distancing ourselves, socially distancing ourselves, stuck into a room or our home and do our work. I know Toastmaster International as an organization and Wordsmith as a club, we meet every week and organize our meetings. But the present situation demands or makes us to think that we need to change. But what is the change which we can do? What are the challenges which can happen and how we are going to accept these challenges? Toastmaster International, with its board of directors, international president, and CEO, decided that we are going to have all the meetings online. And they have asked each club to conduct their meeting online. The moment online meeting comes to our mind, it's a change and we start resisting. How this can happen? We are all used to regular meetings, eye contact, body language, seeing each other, clapping. And what will happen in online meeting? Will I be able to see people? Will I feel people? Or what is the technology which is going to come? And how I'm going to face those challenges and changes? Friends, from here on, for few days or few months, we are going to have online meeting. And for this, I know for some, it's a challenge. Challenge in the sense that how we are going to manage it. Raise your hands if you have a mobile phone. Yes, most of them has. Raise your hands if you have an internet in it. That makes life easier for everyone because online meeting requires an online platform which our XCOM will take care of it. You just need to download that platform into your mobile or a desktop and have an internet connection and then connect it. You should have an hands-free to speak. That's most of us we are doing. But still, if you feel that there will be a problem for you, then as an XCOM, we have decided that we will support you and help you out to figure out a way forward. This change is going to happen because it's forced change. But do you think how it is going to help all of us? This is a world where we are moving towards YouTube, Facebook. It's a digital era. And most of the time, we are going to have or we are going to mix with people in digital. This is an opportunity or this is a time where we need to throw ourselves for the challenges and accept the change and give our regular speeches and understand how the digital world works, how you look in a meeting, how you're presenting in a meeting. Because most of the time, when you do a YouTube channel, it's you and the people are looking in. What will be your facial expression? I'm sure this change of a regular meeting to an online meeting will be a challenge. But then let's all throw ourselves, find a way, accept a change, and keep moving. This will help not only us, but the entire world in the current situation. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Yuvraju, for the speech. So you told us, accept the change, then it is not a challenge for us. Thank you for the great speech. So friends, part one or first part of the Toastmasters meeting of this evening is over. We'll be moving on to the second part, which is a table topic. Table topic, as I said earlier, it is an impromptu speech. To conduct a table topic, we have somebody called table topic master. Table topic master for this evening is Toastmaster Abishek. Abishek, hi. Hi, Abishek. Hello.
Abhishek, you're in mute condition.
Sorry, yeah, hi.
Hi. Okay. So you are the table topic master. I hope you know this. Okay. So we have with us Toastmaster Abhishek. He's a vibrant Toastmaster. He's a chartered accountant by profession and aspiring for CFA. And he said while in lockdown, he wants to know more about himself. So my suggestion is you can ask your neighbor. They'll tell you more about your. Okay, friends, with this brief introduction, I request Toastmaster Abhishek to take over as the table topic master for this evening. Over to Abhishek.
Thank you, TMOD. So a gentle reminder to all the participants. So if you wish to participate in TT, just ping in chat. And also those who are going to speak in TT, just unmute yourself and also unmute your video. So with that note, let me call upon first our wealthiest person in Wordsmiths, Toastmaster Manish, because he's the treasurer of our club. So he's the wealthiest person.
Hi guys. Hi, Toastmaster. And the table topic master.
Okay. So your question is, you have been offered $50,000. You have been offered $50,000 to dance in front of all our Wordsmith members. But the point is, there will be no music playing upon. So you have to dance on your own. What kind of dance will you dance to?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests. For dancing in front of our wordsmiths and they giving me $50,000 or rupees, I think it's a very big amount and I think the other Toastmasters should be paid such a big amount to see me dance in the first place. Because they need it for all their medical expenses and other post-traumatic stress disorders that they have to face after seeing the dance that I actually perform in front of them. And one dance that I would dance just to get their gain their attention, and without a music, in fact, it will be what is a belly dance. See, you might expect Shakira for dance to your belly dance. That's nice, very good. But has anyone expected Manish to dance for a belly dance? Never. So now this will attract every single Toastmaster onto the stage, and no music or with music also, they'll be so enlightened towards the dance, and I'm very sure about that. Though the stress can be huge, but it's okay. Some good things shall come with some price to pay, no? So no issues, they can manage, I suppose. What do you say, Toastmasters? And over to the table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. So next I would like to call upon Toastmaster Harish. Harish, hi. Harish.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, all right.
So you have been given an option to go invisible for 12 hours. What will you do?
All right. Thank you, Table Topic Master, and good evening again to all the Toastmasters present here virtually. Okay, I've been given the opportunity and the ability, to be invisible for 12 hours. All right. I don't know, for about 3 days, I've not even stepped out of my home, and right now, as you open the news, any of the news channels, you can see how brutally, or I could say how happily policemen are bashing up all the unfortunate civilians who happen to be on the road. And okay, I have the ability to be invisible, right? I would happily take it, and for the 12 hours, of course, I'll be wearing all the protective gear. Even I would wear a hazmat suit if I could afford one. And I would, for all the 12 hours, I would just go to, say, Tower Park or some beautiful place, and I'll just spend the 12 hours there. And, it's because in this lockdown, it's pretty terrible to be inside the home all the time, the locked air. It's pretty stuffy in here. So for all the 12 hours, given the ability to be invisible, I would just venture out to be in a beautiful place in Chennai, and I would come back home. Of course, not having contacted the virus. And over to the table topic master. Thank you.
I would like to call upon Toastmaster Aishwarya. Aishwarya, hi.
Hi. Hi, Abishek.
So, your question is, you have to go alone for the next 60 days.
Go alone?
So, yeah. Either in a house or wherever it is. So you have to go alone or stay alone. But we have given an option to take only one thing with you, except for your mobile. Okay, so you have to go alone for the next 60 days, but you have given an option to take only one thing with you, except for your mobile. What thing will be and why?
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Abishek. Good evening, all Toastmasters.
Good evening.
So, if I get the chance of going or being alone, I will definitely take a book along with me. And the other option would be phone, and I can't take it now because that is out of option, because phone is something which we all can't live without it. So book is the other option, and I really love reading books. So why book? Books help me. Book is the best way to escape, and I find it as a platform where I can actually escape from the world. So books are my form of escaping the world, and you get to read a lot of books. So one book is enough for me to be transported to different to a different realm where you get to experience. As you shift through the book, you keep moving. You enter a different world where you experience a magical feeling. So I think a book will be something which I will carry, and I can't just be alone without a book. So yeah, over to Toastmaster Abhishek. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to call upon our area champ, Deepak Ishwar. Deepak? Deepak, are you there?
Hello.
So, your question is, yeah, you're superb. Great. If we had to join circus, what kind of performer, if you had to join circus, what kind of performer you would be, except as a speaker?
Thank you, Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters and guests virtually online and in your house sitting in this quarantine. First things first, this is not a circus. Absolutely. If not for whatever that we are doing right now on a video call is not considered a circus. I want all of us to understand that life can become a circus over a Sunday and a Monday. You understand? Everybody is running out to grocery stores where they draw a circle, and then we stand 6 feet apart looking at each other as if the moment he coughs, I have to run away. And I went to this one amazing fruit shop over there, and then I don't know, I couldn't control myself from sneezing. I was like, everybody ran away. I really don't think I should go to the circus in order to become a character everywhere. Somebody has to have the eyes on me. But Toastmasters, it's time for us to open our eyes and understand the circus of life. Life has been perfect. Life has been super cool, and whatever you have been expected for all these quite number of days. And right now, for the social distancing, virtual distancing, we are sitting at home doing nothing. You have the ability to connect to your family. You have the ability to connect to your friends. You have the ability to play games with your family again. I remember the last time that I ever did this was when I was in my 7th grade or 8th grade. Right now, we're playing Rummy. And I haven't been given that opportunity to go inside a circus. I want to go there as a human, not as a speaker, not as a lion, not as some joker. Because One single ability that a human has is the ability to inspire another person's mind in order to view what nobody else has. If you can understand this quarantine in a much, much, much more given ability, or in a view which you were supposed to share it to another person, I believe that's what makes you special. And that's quarantine. And to be the circus of life, I really believe you have to be yourself. And I want to be Deepak in the circus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next I would like to call upon Toastmaster Ashok. Hi.
Hey, hi, Abishek.
Hi, hi. So let me make your question very simple.
Yeah, be nice to me.
What is the biggest lie you once believed it was true?
Okay, see, thank you, Table Topic Master, for that interesting question. Okay, earlier on, the Toastmaster of the day made a very interesting remark that if I had to know about myself, the best person to ask would be my neighbor. So, Toastmaster of the day, I think that is a very interesting suggestion that you're making, that you have to ask your neighbor. I would have thought you would have mentioned your wife or your kids, but you chose your neighbor. So it is very interesting to me. I think that is, something that I'd like to, sir, I would like to discuss with you offline about that and understand in detail. Right. So, back to my topic. I think the biggest lie for me would be about how my daughter is interjecting that I lie to my daughter. Okay. So the biggest lie to me would be about not being honest to oneself. I think that would be the biggest lie that I would want to call out. I think if we are not honest to ourselves, that is the worst possible situation one can be in, and you cannot live with yourself for long with that sort of a situation. So I would say that living with yourself in a lie is probably the worst lie in which you can be. Back to you, Table Topic Master, and thanks for calling.
Thank you so much. So next I would like to call upon our guest Bharat. Bharat, hi. Bharat, can you unmute yourself? Okay.
Bharat?
Bharat? Okay, as of now, we'll skip to the next person, so we'll wait for the Bharat to get back. So next I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sajid. Sajid, hi.
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 So the question for you is, so you have written a biography of your life, okay, and this is going to be taken as a movie. Whom do you want to play the movie version of yourself?
Okay. The first thing I want clarity is that who's going to write, whether I am going to write the biography or something.
You are writing your biography, and this is going to be taken as a movie.
Okay. Thank you for the topic. Okay. First of all, if I write my biography, the first person, if the moment I decide to write my biography, the first person who's going to laugh is my wife, and the next is my parents, because the first thing they will ask is, what is there to write in your biography? Okay, you are always sleeping and eating. That's the biggest hobby. So what is that you have achieved? So that is one thing, the first thing they will ask. Second thing is that if at all I am going to write my biography, so obviously I will have to select the best person in the movie industry, no doubt about it. So I always aspire to become like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Silver Style Stallion. People with very big muscles
and six packs and all those. I always aspire, but unfortunately, leave six pack. I don't even have a one pack, I guess. So that is my dream. So to make my dream come true, so this is the right opportunity. So I will make people like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone to act in my movie, as my character. So that's what my wish, and with that I will make my dream come true. Thank you, Abishek.
Thank you so much, Sajid. So next I would like to call upon Toastmaster Mithun. Mithun, hi.
Hi.
Okay. So in this time of quarantine, you have been given $10,000 to spend within one day.
Okay.
How will you spend it?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a peaceful time at their home. So I have been given $10,000 to be spent in a day. Currently, I think everything's off our reach to spend. The only one critical thing that it can be spent on is the daily wage workers. It's actually a serious thing. We people who work in a corporate life or any this thing can like have our future secured, but the daily wage workers or even the stray animals or dogs or cats, which they will be dependent on our food. So everything has stopped. We are able to see people really walking for 400 kilometers to reach their hometown so that they can survive. These $10,000 can be actually used in a beneficial way for them, and help the nearby people in near our house or our locality, such that these people will be benefited out of this. In a regular time, we could spend this $10,000 in a various way, but at the time of importance or such emergency, this can be spent in a beneficial way. So I would like to spend this $10,000 on like that, waiting for the $10,000. Abhishek, back to you. Thank you.
So we'll discuss that offline. Would the $10,000 or it's going to be $1? So next I would like to call upon our district champion and minimum champion. I don't have that list. Toastmaster Sridhar. Sridhar, hi. Toastmaster Sridhar, sir. Hi. Hi. Great. So the question for you is, does love always come with sacrifice? Does love always come with sacrifice? Why? Why not?
Yeah, I think love for anything will come with some sacrifice. For example, when you have love for table topics, you have to sacrifice that discomfort. Because as Armugam said, the best example of this too shall pass is for the table topics as such. And if you have love for something, you have to definitely sacrifice. When you say sacrifice, it doesn't mean it actually a bad thing, because sacrifice is something which you actually let go for somebody else's benefit also. And that actually is really, really very interesting, I should say. For example, at home, the TV remote, especially in days where we are at home, we want to actually watch TV, but when two kids at home, you don't know that there is something called TV exists as such, because you can only see whatever they're seeing. And I still keep seeing Doraemon and all that, and I keep enjoying whatever was happening earlier. That's a big sacrifice. Given an opportunity, I would like to see something which they should not be seeing. But that sacrifice you have to make at this stage. When I was saying that that about the business channels and all that, don't mistake me that. But you have to sacrifice. But at the end of the day, you have an opportunity to be with them. And even if you're watching Doraemon and when your children enjoy that and you start enjoying with them, and that sacrifice is unmatched. I think the happiness that you get is something which you will never be able to get. And that is something which you should be giving for the sake of love. When it is love, there is no sacrifice, just a minor adjustment. Back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much, sir. So next I would like to call upon Sasi Kumar. Hi.
Hi.
So kind of a similar question for you. if you have to stay alone or go alone for the next 60 days, who among the members present here will you choose to stay with you?
Good evening, Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests present virtually. So next 60 days, if I would like to take, should I really, do I really need to take somebody from Wordsmiths, or can I even take for some of my friends or family? Abishek?
Someone from Wordsmiths who is currently present here.
Probably I will take Deepak Ishwar because the flamboyancy which he brings in, I think he will have all the 60 days. He will have something in him, so that I can really stay with a lot of energy, and I have 60 table topics with me, which I would like to share with him in all the 60 days, and would like to see how he actually reacts and learn a lot of stuff. But that's on a funny note. But 60 days is really going to be a kind of a mountain in this very difficult time, and when social distancing is a real key thing at this juncture, I would prefer staying alone, staying home, and being safe. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So next I would like to call upon Toastmaster Anand from Perambus Toastmaster. Hi, Anand.
Hi.
Anand, you can unmute yourself.
Sorry, sir. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Tell me, Abhishek.
So the question for you is, what is something you have always wanted since you were a kid? What is something you have always wanted since you were a kid?
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek. As a kid, I always wanted to be a Superman because he impressed me in one way or other. It's like as growing up, you love to watch cartoons, and somehow like the flying power impresses you to a greater extent, and you need to be one way or other. I loved like one day I'll become a Superman. That was my thinking at that point of time. But as days pass by and Avengers come in, and you always fall towards Avengers so naturally. And as age grows by, I think like most of you agree with me, like Iron Man would be the superhero, the most favorite superhero for most of us. So as a kid, I loved like I could be become a superhero was one way or other. I believe that I am a superhero, and even I remember one time like when myself and my younger brother was playing in the around the 6th standard, 7th standard. I shared with him. He was very fond of Shaktiman at that time. So I said to him that if you go and take the broomstick and eat the broomstick by yourself, you will become a Shaktiman, which he did it. Even the broomstick gone into pieces. And after that, my mom came in, and you know what has happened? The another broomstick has been gone to a greater extent. As a kid, I always loved to be a superhero. Over to you, Topic Master Abhishek.
Thank you so much. So at the last, okay, since it's getting out of time, we'll close the table topics with this, and let me hand over the control back to TMOD, DTM Abraham, Zachariah. Over to you.
Thank you, Abhishek. You did a great role, and different topics, but keeping the same style. That is really nice. I have a request. You offered money to so many people. Why don't you give me either something so that I could buy some shares at this point of time? Okay, boss. Thank you so much. And friends, we have come to the end of the second session. Now we have to go for the voting. So I request Abhishek to read out the names of the contestants or the table topic participants.
Sure. So the first person was Toastmaster Manish, and Just a second, I will go with an order. And the second person was Toastmaster Harish, Deepak, Aishwarya, Ashok, Toastmaster Ashok, and Toastmaster Sajid, Toastmaster Sridhar, Toastmaster Sasi, and Toastmaster Anand. If I missed anyone, can you please let me know? Did I miss anyone? Toastmaster Mithun.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Mithun.
Okay, thank you. So this time, how do we vote? What is the arrangement for that?
Link will be sent to the group, sir. WhatsApp group.
Okay. So you're taking care of that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Arun is taking it.
Okay, very good. So friends, we have, apart from this, we have 4 other speakers also. First speaker was Rohit, then Adindida, then we had Armugam and Yuvaraju. These are the speakers. Now we are moving to the third session or the last session, that is general evaluation. So our general evaluator is Toastmaster Sangeetha. The root word of Sangeetha in Sanskrit means gift. Maybe music is given as a gift to selected people, not to all of us. I am no way really connected with the music. Okay, we over to general evaluator Toastmaster Sangeetha to take over the floor and conduct the general evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Though the name depicts singing, I'm not related to singing. Anyways, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Now we are moving on to the evaluation session. So for the benefit of guests, in this session, a set of evaluators will evaluate the speeches which was delivered by the speakers in the prepared speeches session. Now, for evaluating the first speaker, Rohit, I would like to call upon Shruti. Shruti, she works at Hyundai. She is learning now. She is during this lockdown period. She is learning to read and write in her mother tongue Telugu, and she's doing her regular workout to keep herself fit. I think you are already fit. So for an ambivert like she says that for an ambivert like me, virtual distancing is really helpful when you need solitude or alone time. Over to you, Shruti.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Let's have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Rohit for successfully completing his Project 3 from Level 1 Pathways. Rohit, it was wonderful hearing from you today. It was a wonderful speech overall. To highlight on what was the best that we all loved in your speech is the first thing, your speech was a well-researched speech. You had data, you had perfect names when you characterized whoever was responsible. You named them all properly, and you also explained what role they played. So that itself shows the depth to which you have researched for this project, especially when you gave data like 350 kilometer per hour. That shows the precise way how much you have prepared for this speech. As the objective clearly says, this purpose of this project is for you to research well and present well. So in that very case, you have done a very good job. So hats off to you on that. Second thing that we all loved about your speech was you had a message for the audience or for the listeners. Usually when people present or they come up with this project, research project, it is data and it is a lot of information that they share. And it is really hard to have a message. But in your case, it was good to hear a very good message, which I would want to repeat is, it is in our hands to face the situation or the mockery from others and come up in life. So that was really great. If I have to suggest something or the one major thing that you would improve on is the topic. In this project, half of the importance of the project goes to the topic to which you choose. we have a set of audience here, and we all come from different profession. Though many of them would be automobile enthusiasts, not everybody is very keen to listen to topic like these. So I believe maybe you could have chosen much more simpler or a very common topic indeed, especially when you're presenting research, which is going to be a lot of data and information. It is much better when we come up with a topic that connects all of us. So there are a lot of topics. So in that very aspect, I felt maybe if you had chosen a different topic, you would have done great justice to the objective as well as the purpose of this project. So to summarize, I would say the two best things that we loved about your speech was it was well researched and well prepared. Second thing was a wonderful message has been delivered in spite of having a very tough objective. And to improve on selecting a topic that connects all of us is very important. So having done that, I believe your speech, which is already good, would be great. Hoping to listen to many more speeches from you. All the very best. Thank you, and over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Shruti. Now, to evaluate Anintita, let me call upon Anusha. Anusha, she is a very new Toastmaster in Chennai Wordsmith, and she is very committed. And she about the theme, virtual distance. Her view is there will always be some good even in bad things. Similarly, even in Corona pandemic, we all are given an opportunity to break a virtual distance and spend some quality time with our family. And she is right now working on cluttering her room and trying to incorporate minimalistic living in her life during this lockdown days. Me too, Anusha. So over to you, Anusha, to evaluate Anintita.
Thank you, Mom, for that introduction. Going to Anindita's speech, there's a saying that a good start and a good ending makes a great speech. I'm sure Anindita's speech caught everyone's attention. There was excellent clarity in her speech, excellent voice modulation, simple gestures for an online meeting, which was very good. It kept me engaged throughout the speech. And in that way, she started with a very simple example about how even a babysitter exhibited the quality of a great leader. I'm sure every one of us could relate to it. And the purpose of her speech was identifying and sharing primary leadership goals, either through her life or quoting the leadership styles. She rightly identified her leadership styles as altruistic and affiliative leadership. With two simple examples from her life, she showcased how her leadership skills solved the crisis and the impact and the successful outcome which she could bring out of her leadership style. So that is very commendable, Anindita. It was very impressive. And she went on to say about how in the end that leaders are not those who do great things, but those who make others do great things. That was very nice. I really liked it. Moreover, in the end, she motivated us with all these simple examples. She made us realize how inside each one of us, we have a leader in us and how we could upgrade ourselves to a better leader. So that was the best thing about the speech. And if you were to ask my recommendations on how to improve the speech, I would give two recommendations. When it comes to altruistic leadership triads, there are things like moral, ethical, and compassionate triads, which could be expressed with this leadership triad, which she could have included with more examples of these triads. The second recommendation, which I would like to say is, she expressed her examples, two examples which she quoted were of instant leadership styles. She could have included long-term leadership styles, how she had taken a responsibility which in a long-term basis and what was the outcome of it. Because in both her examples, it was short-term in nature. So if she had gone for a long-term thing, that would have been more relatable. Otherwise, her speech was excellent. I think these were just my recommendations. Otherwise, I think her speech was excellent. For an online meeting, it was very, very impressive. She was able to gain everyone's attention. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anusha. Next to evaluate Arumugam's this will pass, let us call upon our singer Toastmaster Pal Bhaskaran. When I asked about the theme virtual distance, he says, virtual distance to me is temporary. It cannot be applied to the human being permanently. And for the time being, during this lockdown period, he spent his days as routine because he was retired and he is practicing more on his songs. So he has growing his collections for us. So when I asked how are you managing without visiting tea shops, he says he prepares good teas than shops, and he is inviting us to. Okay, over to Toastmaster Pal Bhaskaran.
Hi. Good evening, one and all. Once again.
Evening.
Audible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Special good evening to Toastmaster Arumugam. I would evaluate on the basis of it doesn't matter what the speaker said. It does matter how he said. Toastmaster Arumugam today, he applied the parameters such as the tempo, pause, volume, voice modulation, and the techniques, whatever the techniques he handled to give us one wonderful story. Let's applaud for that. Please applaud. And what I loved most from his speech are the title he selected, "This Too Will Pass." Truly, it inspired me. And he applied so many techniques, like I said, the pause, volume, to give us a wonderful story. And he was relating the story to the current scenario, which is coronavirus. It is what his world is talking about. It is the talk of the world. So he very well connected. And connecting that to that story, he gave us a hope also that this corona too will pass. We can applaud for that. Please applaud. It was an entertaining story, and he made me richer not only by way of the story, but also by a gift, like I would say, diamond. Having shared the positives, if I can give some recommendations, he could have made this storytelling much more interesting, enthralling. Number one, at the opening, he mentioned, one day king called. He could have well said, once upon a time, a king called, and the voice and style of delivery could be enhanced or changed to give much more interest. And at one point of time, my speakers mentioned that instead of Munusami, the minister, he said the king, and he corrected. Thereby, I lost the connection, my dear friends. I would suggest Toastmaster Arumugam, practice, practice, practice. Definitely, that will make you an enthralling speaker. When you have mentioned king's top level, you could have raised your hand gesture. Although you are sitting and speaking, fine. You could have raised your hand gesture and that would give it much more interest to the audience. All right, I believe the story you have selected is very short to cover only 5 minutes, although it warrants 7 to 9 minute speech. You could have selected a long speech to cover 6 to 7 minutes, and the rest can be objectives and some message giving. Armugam, Toastmaster Armugam, please take care of my suggestions, and I'm sure these flaws too will pass, and you can become a great storyteller. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Palvaskaran. Next to evaluate Toastmaster Yuvraju, we have this powerful man, our past VP Education. We all know where current VP Education Arun's energy came from, right? Toastmaster Arun Sridhar. Right now, Arun Sridhar is enjoying this lockdown days with Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hotstar. So, over to you, sir. Over
Thank
to
you.
Toastmaster Arun Sridhar.
Thank you. Toastmasters and Yuva in particular. Yuva, I want to congratulate you on completing your advanced communication speech in the one of the most boring manuals that is there in the advanced communication series. I know because I was also used that manual. But you made it interesting because you chose a topic that was relevant for all of us, that is in action, in play right now. And it's actually a good choice of topic because this, what better change is there for Toastmasters like us than the online version. And from what I was able to observe, not all clubs have embraced that change. So it is a change that needs to be communicated and people need to be persuaded to come online. It is not happening seamlessly. Some clubs still need, some convincing. So it's a very good choice of topic. You showed very good presence online. You're very well dressed, formally dressed, very well presented. From an online presence point of view, this is a very corporate presentation, unlike me. But I think you've really covered your base with that. You found a very good location, which is quiet and no distractions, formally dressed, and you made that presentation. So from an online presentation point of view, really well done. In terms of this project calls for a four-point way of communicating change. Provide a convincing need for change, which you did. Explain the nature and scope of change, which you did. But the third and fourth point, which is customize a description of changes in terms that clarify benefits to your audience, and be empathetic and acknowledge any resistance. Maybe the last two could have improved, and I think you could have made a better use of your time, because you spent almost 2 to 3, 4 minutes in setting up the need for change rather than diving straight into the Toastmasters context. And if you had spent some more time in the meat of the project, like get to the point, then you could probably acknowledge some of the issues that are there in online meetings. Some members might feel that, hey, I joined for public speaking, but this is not real public speaking. So that's probably an area you could address, and you can communicate benefits of online, because most work is now going to move online. So maybe you can talk about that. So those 2 points, maybe you could have dwelled on a little bit more, and you could have done that if you had gotten to the point a little earlier. But other than that, as I said, excellent choice of topic, and no interruptions whatsoever. Very professional demeanor and attitude, and this was a very good online presentation. Thank you, Eva.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arun Sridhar. It was a wonderful evaluation session. Even though all the schools were locked down without the exams on, here our Toastmasters evaluation is still on, thanks to online meetings. Now it's time for our tax team report. Let me call upon Timer Arvind for his report. Over to you, Arvind.
Thank you, General Evaluator. It was a wonderful meeting filled with many prepared speeches, table topics, and power pack evaluation. Now, for the timer report for the prepared speeches, Toastmaster Rohit, who talked about Ford versus Ferrari, took 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Prepared speaker 2, Toastmaster Anandita, who talked about different ways of leadership, took 6 minutes and 4 seconds for a speech. Speaker 3, Toastmaster Armugam, who narrated a beautiful story about this too will pass, took 8 minutes and 24 seconds. Speaker 4, Toastmaster Yuvaraju, who talked about different kinds of changes, took 5 minutes and 52 seconds for a speech. The table topic session was filled with different kinds of speeches, giving different kinds of tasks to the speakers. And Toastmaster Manish Babu took 1 minute for a speech. Toastmaster Harish took 1 minute and 20 seconds. For a speech. TT Speaker 4, Toastmaster Deepak took 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Whereas Speaker 5, Toastmaster Ashok took 1 minute and 40 seconds. TT Speaker 6, Toastmaster Sajid took 1 minute and 36 seconds. TT Speaker 7, Toastmaster Mithun Jain took 1 minute and 20 seconds. TT Speaker 8, Toastmaster Sridhar took 1 minute and 42 seconds. TT Speaker 9, Toastmaster Sasikumar took 1 minute and 29 seconds. And finally, Toastmaster Anand took 1 minute and 40 seconds for speech. Coming to the evaluation, Toastmaster Shruti, who evaluated Toastmaster Rohit's speech, took 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Evaluated 2, Toastmaster Anusha, who evaluated Toastmaster Anandita's speech, took 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Evaluator 3, Toastmaster Paul Bhaskaran, who evaluated Toastmaster Arugam's speech, took 3 minutes and 29 seconds. And Evaluator 4, Toastmaster Arun Sridhar, took 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Note that all the speakers are qualified. This is the timer report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arvind. It is very tough job as a timer for this online meeting. Thank you again for that, Arvind. It's now time for the R counter report. Over to Toastmaster Murli.
Yes, so Toastmaster Rohit have 4 audible passes and 4 passes and no repeated words, and Anidita no passes and no repeated words, and Arumugam has 3 audible passes and 1 pass, and Toastmaster Arumugam has 1 audible pass and 1 pass, and Toastmaster Evaluator Shruti has 1 pass, and Evaluator Anusha has no audible pass and no pass and no repeated word, and Evaluator Paul Bhaskaran has 1 audible pass and 2 pass and 1 repeated word, and Evaluator Arun Sridhar has no pass and no repeated word, and table topic master Manish has 2 passes and 1 repeated word, and table topic master Harish has 1 audible pass and 2 passes, and table topic Aishwarya has 2 audible pass and 1 pass, and Deepak Ishwar has no passes and no repeated words, and table topic Ashok has 2 passes and 2 repeated words, and table topic Sajid has 2 passes, and Mithun, Sridhar, and Sasi have no passes and no repeated word, and Anand has 2 passes and 2 audible passes. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Murli. Over to you, Toastmaster Harish, for the grammarian report.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening again to all the Toastmasters.
Good evening.
And overall, there's been a lot of good usage, I would say even great usages of the English words. And some of them are the use of the phrase MC of the meeting, used by our presiding officer, TM Shruti, That was something really different. And usage of the words oxymoron in the context of virtual distance by our TMOD, DTM Abraham Zachariah, was very impressive. And among the other good usages from him were in the height of the Cold War, proactive, and those really augmented to his speech. And by our general evaluator, TM Sangeetha, the use of the words ambivert, cluttering, minimalistic living, were really impressive. And among the speakers, by our TM Rohit, the use of the word humane. And something very noticeable was how he used the word channelize, to channelize the energy towards achieving the goal. That was used at multiple occasions in his speech at the right points. And those really added the punch in his speech, and those were really good usages. And the phrases flooded with depth and lucrative. Lucrative means very profitable, like a lucrative venture. That was also used in a very good point in his speech. And by our speaker, Anindita, TM Anindita, the phrase is accommodating opinions of people was a good usage. And the usage of the word predicament was also very impressive. Predicament means a very difficult or a challenging situation anyone can face. And by our speaker 4, TM Yuvaraju, the usage of the word jittered, which means when if someone is said to be jittered if they're feeling nervous. So that was also very good usage. And among the table topic speakers, by our speaker 4 table topic speaker, TM Deepak, the use of the phrase circus of life was very impressive. That was pertaining to his table topic given, so it was very good. And by our 9th table topic speaker, TM Sridhar, the use of the word flamboyance was very impressive. Flamboyant means having an influence on others by one's exuberance, confidence, and any positive attitude. So that was a very powerfully used word. And well done, sir. And among the evaluators, by TM Anusha, the use of the word commendable while she was doing her evaluation was very good. And by another evaluator, third evaluator, TM Paul Bhaskaran, the use of the word vivid was very good. And by our another evaluator, TM Arun Sridhar, the use of the word demeanor was again used rightly in his point, at a point in his speech. And the word of the day, kerfuffle, was used twice by our speakers in this meeting. Once by TMOD DTM Abraham Zachariah, and once again by TM Anindita during her speech. The theme of the day was used 4 times, twice by TMOD DTM Zachariah, once by the second speaker, TM Anindita, and once again by TM Yuvaraju during his speech. And one correction that I might, or one better usage could be, when someone wants to say that we had nothing in our hand should be the right usage. I found someone using that we already had nothing in our hand already. So I mean, the nothing can be used as just a subject, and like it need not be redundant. So that was the one thing where we thought we can improve during our speeches. And that's all with my report. Thank you to all the Toastmasters for this opportunity. Thank you. Over to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Harish, for that detailed grammarian report. Those words which I used was passed on to me by Shruti and Anusha. Kudos to them. So let me start with my general evaluation report. First, let me start with a kudos to Toastmaster Arun, the VP Education, to get the roles on time, even during this lockdown time. It's not that easy to get all the roles filled up. And thanks to the whole ExCom with a powerful presidential role by Shruti for this, for conducting this online meeting to ensure continuity of Toastmasters meeting. And we had started the meeting on time by sharp 4. I'm sure the timer's job is not that easy in the online meeting. My recommendation is to have a better amber color card. It is very light in shade. And the recommendation for the grammarian, please let the word to be much more simpler to use by most of the players, role players and the speakers. And the TT session was really interesting with simple topics and interesting too, where all the guests, the Toastmasters from the other clubs were given a part. So overall, it was a very good meeting. And one more recommendation to all the participants to please be present in video mode. Thank you. And one point is that Anand, your video is on, but I see a black screen. I don't know the I don't know the secret. Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's all from me.
Thank you, General Evaluator Sangeetha, for being the evaluator, and you evaluated the proceedings of the meeting and taken care of the tag team and other evaluators. So you did a great job. So with this, we have come to the close of the main meeting. We'll be moving to the next part. And I must say, our table topic master, general evaluator, speakers, evaluators, and the tag team all made this meeting a seamless one and without any key for fill. And I must also say, I enjoyed being the TMOD. It was an exciting time for me, experience for me, as it was a virtual meeting and I was doing it for the first time, like some of you here. So friends, it is said all things would come to an end. That is true for me also now. Our president of Wordsmiths Toastmasters is Toastmaster Shruti. She is only 1/3 of my age and 1/3 of my weight. Yet, I must say she is 3 times better speaker and a better leader. Over to one and only Toastmaster Shruti, president of Chennai Wordsmiths Toastmasters Club.
Thank you, sir. I hope you all enjoyed the meeting today. So the link has been sent in our WhatsApp group. So kindly vote for the best speaker, best role player, TT speaker, tag team, and evaluator as well. So I would like to get a few feedback, especially from the guests first. So any guests present here could volunteer to present your feedback, maybe in just 1 or 2 lines. Can we hear it from guest Bharat? Okay, not reachable. So any of the members who would want to present any suggestion, or if you want to if you feel like giving feedback, kindly volunteer.
Hi, Shruti. Ashok here.
Yes, sir.
So I think you guys are doing a fantastic job, and it's really path-breaking to set up this online meeting to get it going. So I'm going to steal a note from your textbook and conduct an online meeting for the kids again tomorrow. So Cavaliers. So and I think you guys have done a tremendous job, Shruti, Arun, in setting up this meeting and running this. So congratulations and kudos to you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and all the best for the meeting tomorrow.
Thanks.
So
Shruti, I also
yes.
wanted to add something.
Yes, sir. Yuvraj, sir. Yes.
Okay, fine. See, last week I wanted to join, but I was not able to join, and I've been seeing like how tough this is to organize a meeting. In fact, for role players, and you people have been following up. Maybe like we are not ready for the online stuff as such. So the work which you are doing, and as Ashok said, it is commendable. And I wanted to just appreciate all of your efforts in making this a reality. And this is something which is going to help all of us in developing our communication. Maybe we are missing the presence of people, but this is going to be the future sometimes. And we're all as a professionals do it day in, day out. So thanks for this opportunity, and thanks for making all this effort to make it a successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is yes, sir.
Well, I enjoyed this virtual meeting. Well, of course, as Arun Yuvraj said the physical meeting has its own advantage. So I prefer, if you ask me, I prefer a physical meeting. But if you are not there, but you can attend the meeting, that itself gives you some kind of energy. You know, when Saturday afternoons, you know, you are attending a Toastmasters, is one way it is good, and you arrange everything beautifully.
Perfectly.
That a person who is not very tech savvy could do it. That is, I must appreciate, especially Toastmaster Arun for coordinating with me and others.
Yes, sir.
Is here. So,
yes,
first
sir.
of all, many congratulations. I'm really impressed. I've seen many official meetings happening, and this is far better than that, and it's so seamlessly done. And what I like is the planning which actually goes behind it. Through the week, I keep seeing information floating around, so very well organized. And from the execution point, I really feel that there is tremendous coordination between the team. And as a leader, I would like to appreciate for putting up a great show. So fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Hearing from all of you itself is a great motivation. And of course, this meeting is for the members and by the members. So actively participate in the upcoming meetings. And for the meeting 567, we have a lot of roles open. But I'll take it online as we are running short of time.
Priti, one note from me.
Yes, ma'am.
For the membership renewal. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So coming up with the announcements, a membership renewal has started a month back and still we are lagging behind, honestly. So kindly, if you haven't yet renewed your membership, do it at the earliest possible and leave a note to our treasurer, Toastmaster Manish, or to our Vice President membership, Toastmaster Sangeetha as well. So do it fast as soon as possible. And the second announcement is, as we are already speaking on the same topic, our club is one of the many clubs that have started with the online meeting. So kudos to everyone who has been a part of today's meeting as well as the previous meeting, and a great gesture of gratitude to the ExCom members, especially Arun, for planning out everything seamlessly. So it is time now to get to know who has done the best today. So to announce the result, let's have a huge round of applause as I announce. The best tag role player is Toastmaster Harish. The best TT speaker, any guesses? Okay, it is our champion Toastmaster Sridhar Rangnathan. The best evaluator for today's meeting, the newcomer Toastmaster Anusha. Let's have a huge round of applause as she's taken up the role for the first time. The best role player award goes to DTM Abraham Zachariah.
Oh.
And the best speaker, any guesses? Okay, the best speaker of today's meeting is Toastmaster Anindita. Thank you so much, Arun, for the promptness in showing us the names with everything on screen. Thank you so much. And the roles and speech slots, including evaluation role, is open for the upcoming meeting 567. You can contact our VP at Arun and keep actively participating in the upcoming online meeting as well. And with that note, I would like to adjourn today's meeting. Thank you all for joining online. If you have any feedback or any suggestion what could have been done better, feel free to leave a message to any of our ExCom member or directly to me as well. And thank you very much. Hope you all enjoyed the meeting. We can have 10 minutes of networking session after this. So the meeting is adjourned. We can have random chit chat maybe.
Hey,